Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into a world that's, well, it's everywhere. It's all around us, but for most of human history, we had absolutely no idea it even existed. So, just think about this for a second. Our eyes, they're pretty good, but they've got limits, right? What if you could just switch off those limits? What if you could see everything, right down to the tiniest, most microscopic level? What kind of world would we suddenly find ourselves in? I mean, look at this. It really drives the point home, doesn't it? In just a single drop of water or a pinch of dirt from your garden, there is an entire universe buzzing with life. We're talking about a whole city of tiny creatures living out their entire lives in a space you can barely even see. For centuries, this whole world was a complete secret, totally locked away from us. So, how did we finally get the key? Well, the story starts with something surprisingly simple. Not some big, complicated machine, but just a curved piece of glass that could bend light in just the right way. And that key, the thing that opened the door to a whole new reality, that was the microscope. And believe me, it was a total game changer for our understanding of, well, of everything. Okay, so check out this timeline. What's absolutely fascinating here is just how fast everything happened. Once we figured out the basics of lenses with eyeglasses, things just took off. In a relatively short time, we went from helping folks read a book to discovering entire new worlds. The technology just exploded. So, back in 1665, this English scientist, Robert Hooke, gets his hands on a microscope like this one. Now, Hooke was one of those incredibly curious guys, and he was a fantastic artist, too. He started looking at everything and drawing what he saw, publishing it all in a famous book called Micrographia. And this was a huge moment. When he looked at a thin slice of cork, he saw all these little empty boxes. He called them cells, and that was it. That was the very first time anyone had used that word to describe the fundamental building block of life. You can totally see why he picked that name, right? On the left is his drawing, and on the right, well, it looks like a honeycomb or the little rooms in a monastery. He thought, hey, these look like tiny rooms, like cells, and just like that, the name stuck. Okay, but here's a really important point. Hooke saw the rooms, right? The empty structures in dead cork. But around the same time, another scientist, Antonie van Leeuwenhoek, built even better microscopes. And he was the first to see the tiny living things swimming around. He saw the tenants. He's the guy who discovered bacteria and protozoa, basically kicking off the entire field of microbiology. All right, so we've got the tools. Let's zoom right in on that first huge discovery, the cell. What's the deal with these things? What are they? The easiest way to think about it is like this. Cells are the bricks of life. Just like a house is built of bricks, every single living thing, you, me, a tree, an ant, is built from these tiny, amazing little units. But here's the thing. Not all bricks are created equal. A plant cell is different from an animal cell. And while they have some stuff in common, there are a few really key differences that totally change what they're capable of. And this image shows it perfectly. See the one on the right? That's the plant cell. It's all rigid and boxy. That's because it has a tough outer cell wall. The animal cell on the left is more squishy, more flexible. And you'll notice the plant cell has those little green things inside. Those are chloroplasts. That's how they make their own food. So what this really means is that big things, like us or a tree, are what we call multicellular. We're made of trillions of cells all working together. But what about organisms that are made of just one brick, just a single cell? Yeah, let's talk about those guys. These are the single-celled superstars. We're going from the building blocks to creatures that are the block, and we call them microorganisms, or just microbes. Hey, remember that drop of water from the beginning? That bustling little universe? Well, these are the residents. These are the microbes. And they're not just in water. They are literally everywhere. The ground, the air, and yep, even inside of you, right now. Microbe is a really broad term. Just look at the variety here. You've got amoebas, algae, fungi, bacteria. They're all totally different, belonging to their own unique groups. It's an incredibly diverse kingdom of life. So for the multicellular crowd, like us, there's this amazing organization. It's like a ladder. You start with one cell, a bunch of similar cells get together and form a tissue. Tissues work together to make an organ, like your heart. Organs team up into a system, like your circulatory system. And all those systems together, that makes a whole organism. It's an incredible hierarchy. Okay, so we've got these tiny, single-celled things all over the place. But why does it matter? Who cares? Well, here's the kicker. Without this invisible world, our big, visible world would completely fall apart. Think of microbes as the planet's cleanup crew. They are the ultimate recyclers. They break down everything, dead plants, animal waste, you name it, and turn it back into nutrients that go back into the soil, allowing new things to grow. They are absolutely essential. Yeah, this quote says it all. They're not just some weird little things you see under a microscope. They are the foundation of healthy soil, which is the foundation of pretty much all life on land. They are the invisible engineers that make our world work. So, from that first glimpse of a cell in a piece of cork to understanding the massive job that bacteria do, we've seen that this invisible world is holding everything up. It just makes you wonder, right? If all of this was hiding in plain sight for so long, what else is out there that we just can't see yet?